Today I'll be making Chinese steamed buns, baos. Normally they have barbecue pork in them like you'd find in a dim sum restaurant, but I don't have barbecue pork, so I'm going to use Chinese sausage and green onion as the filling. I'm starting here with dough that I've already made up. It's just a recipe I found online. Basically just has some flour, cornstarch, yeast, sugar, oil, and baking powder. I'll post the link to the recipe that I found, and you can use that. But basically what we want to do is just get it rolled out into a log and then cut it into pieces and roll those individual pieces into the baos. I'll cut it in half to make it a little bit easier to work with. I'll wrap the extra piece in a Ziploc bag so it doesn't get dried out. And you can kind of start rolling it. I'm not the best at it, but as long as it gets into a log, then you're good. Just kind of squeeze it together a little bit to help you. It doesn't have to be perfect. I'm not getting my scale out to measure each piece. This is probably sufficiently long. I'm not good at estimating length, probably less than a foot. And then just start cutting it. And cut it in half. Put it together, cut it in half again. I've been making usually about 32 or so with each batch of dough I've made. So this is 8 right here. Over here on the stove I have about a 14-inch wok with some water in it. Just get that to boil. And then I have a bamboo steamer here. I think the steamer is 12 inches, so it kind of fits right inside of the wok, but you don't want the water touching the basket at all. So just keep the lid on that, let it boil, and get it nice and hot and steamed up, and then so it can be ready for steaming the buns. Now I haven't perfected wrapping these buns at all, but my thinking is just as long as they get wrapped nicely and they look okay, then you're okay. Basically just want to roll each little section to cut out into a ball and flatten it out a little bit. And then use a rolling pin to kind of roll it out more. These buns, it doesn't matter as much, but sometimes depending on what you have it inside the filling with, you'll want the center section at the bottom of the bun a little bit thicker than the outsides. That helps if you have a filling that will be juicy or greasy, so it doesn't leak through or break the center of it. And just leave the outsides thinner so it's easier to wrap around the filling. I think I might have made this section too small, but we'll see. It might just turn out to be a small bun. That's good enough, I guess. So yeah, this is what I have. And then here's the filling I'm using. Just took some Chinese sausage, sliced each link in half, and then cut up from there, and then also diced some green onions. Just take a little bit in there. The amount you put in there kind of depends on the size of the wrapper that you have. And like I said, I've not perfected this part, so don't judge me too much, but just kind of wrap it at this point. I kind of find it easier to fold it in half, or pinch it in half like that first, and then try to fold from there. I try to do the little pleats, but it doesn't turn out well. But as long as it gets sealed up nicely still, it'll turn out well. There's no no harm. And then you kind of take the edges they folded up in the center, pinch it and turn it a little bit to help get a decent seal. It doesn't matter if it comes open during the steaming process. That's what you'll see in the dim sum restaurants anyway. You'll see them open up and you can see the filling inside a little bit. Yeah, and then we'll just continue making these. I've got the other pieces in the Ziploc bag so they don't dry out. I can hear my water boiling almost. But I've pre-cut some of these parchment papers into squares and just basically set the bun on there. And you put that in the steamer and let it steam. I see they definitely don't look too pretty. They're not too big, but they'll turn out well in the end, don't worry. I just made a small handful for now. I'll make some more later, but I'll go ahead and get these steamed. So we'll just open our steamer lid and check it out. Looks like it's ready. So let's go ahead and place these in the steamer basket. Yeah, parchment paper you put in there to help the buns not stick to the basket. You might still get a little bit sticking depending, because the buns will expand a little bit. And you can start to see the parchment paper kind of curling up on itself already. Now let's go ahead and put the lid on. And then we set the timer for 12 minutes. And we'll check on them in 12 minutes. Okay, so the timer went off. Let's check on the buns. Okay, they look pretty nice. As I said before, I'm not good at wrapping these, so I'm not too surprised it popped open a little bit more than they normally would, but there we have those. Turn off the burner. And let's take the buns out carefully so it'll be hot. And then there they are. Okay, and that's how I made Chinese steamed buns, little baos. I'd like to try to make them because we don't have any good dim sum restaurants around here where I am in Eastern Washington. I live in the Eastern Washington Tri-Cities area, but we don't have a high concentration of Chinese population like the West Coast more specifically does, like Seattle and Portland. So we can't always make it to Seattle and Portland. So it's nice to be able to make these here on my own. So then if I ever crave dim sum, I can just pop a batch of baos in there, or I can make some little baked tarts that's on top, and then do all kinds of things. So that's my plan, is to try to perfect some more of those recipes. Thank you.